about the scrimmage. With the cut down roster with 105, and we still have more than 105 because of the grandfathered in designated players. But, with everybody being down rosters a little bit, normally we have two full scrimmages, good on good. This year we decided to go 1 versus 2, 2 versus 1, our second scrimmage, which was today. Last week was more like 140 plays. Today, I know the one offense got 43, so that the two defense obviously would have got the same amount. I'm guessing somewhere around 30, 35. I'm guessing 2-0 versus 1D. So you add that up, there's 88, 90 plays, and then we had 25 with the threes. So somewhere around 115 plays today, just a little bit shy of what we did. We just played the game in the first half if punts came up. But we played it ones, twos, threes, where we could get I look at each punter. Every time we scored, we kicked 3 field goals in a row. And we kicked off just 3 times. I didn't kick off every single time there. So I do like the format that we used. The greatest thing is we came out very, very healthy. And we saw some things that we've seen in the past, about the throw and the catch of Monte Harrison showing up on a Saturday scrimmage. And he shows up every day, but he seems to make big plays in scrimmages, which is really good to see. And Mike Washington seems to, in live ball, he seems to make long runs. Today happened to be a 91. I think his second run today was maybe 32 or something like that. So obviously there's doing a good job up front, but he's also doing a good job of breaking tackles and has tremendous speed. So I thought Brandon Russell ran better today. Trent Whalen defensively I thought looked better, made quite a few plays at the linebacker spot. And I'm just talking off the top of my head of who I felt like. Phillip Lee, guys, has come on. I'm excited. We need him to. Excited to see him out there at that buck and defensive end position. And I thought we played better defensively than we did a week ago. The two offense did score on the defense, and we did not have many penalties at all today. We didn't last week. But in that drive that the two offense scored on the one defense, there was 4 penalties. 2 alignment penalties, which we've got to get fixed, obviously. 1 pass interference and another one where we picked a guy up and which was good teaching for picked him up and threw him to the ground or whatever, like what happened to us last year at Oklahoma State. So it was a really good learning situation there for the team, for the defense as well. But overall, we had no injuries that I'm aware of right now, and played fast and got a lot of reps in. So obviously school starts on Monday. The guys are off tomorrow, and I think it'll be their first full day off since obviously they reported to camp.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering how much you decided going in maybe to run Washington, because it feels like pretty well what you got there. Was there okay, after 35-yard run, maybe okay, let's pull him out or something, and with any other player also?
Well, you always talk about that kind of, what I mean. But Trey, sometimes you don't want to talk about it. You just want to, because it's just scary. He's a really good player, and we know what he can do and all that. I will say this, at the 5-minute mark in the second half, I said, I've seen all he wants, all I want of him. And he was down there around the 15-yard line, and I yelled for Braylon. I said, get Braylon in there. And, he could use those reps and getting Mike out of there. But, might have done that same thing with Asori. However, he's still nursing that hamstring a little bit, so he wasn't out there. So, but there's a few guys, obviously you do it with the quarterbacks if they could hit them, poor old offensive and defensive line, they just got to grunt it out, a lot of times. But, yeah, we certainly had that conversation about Mike.
Is there any thoughts on Monte that, he shouldn't be doing like what he's doing, like he's 30 years old, and like, is my eyes deceiving me? All this kind of stuff.
I'm so happy for him. You know, guys, I mean, 29 years old, you go back as a freshman in high school, and you're not getting a lot of game time and all that, and you're coming from a professional situation in baseball. Hard, I would assume would be very hard. And he just kept fighting, kept working, and now, I mean, he's one of those guys that you want to look at, guy you want to go to, like an Armstrong was a year ago. He really is a guy that has really come on. So I'm real proud of him. He turned 30, last week. I think it was last week. And, yeah, I think it's very, very hard. It's obviously his physique, his ability, and how much shape he's in is why I think he's able to do it.
Following up on that, it seems like through fall camp, Taylon's best chemistry has been with Omega and Raylan, but today it was CJ and Monte. I mean, how good is that to see the development there with that chemistry?
Well, as you well know, we're trying to continue to build confidence in the quarterback with whomever, and I'll go back this week. Is a really good question because, CJ this week he's made a lot of plays at practice, did today. Sharp's been out, so we've been able to move CJ some into slot as well. But you look at that, and Andy Jean's out, so someone has to step up. And I think, we've found that are healthy right now, 5 to 7 guys, and Jalen Brown made some plays this week. Rohan Jones is another guy that yesterday I felt like had his best practice production-wise and catching difficult catches and all that. So I think we're getting more people. I think that's your point as well, because it was Omega and Sharp for so long, and it still is Omega, but we're adding into that, which is really going to help us and keep fresh guys on the field that have confidence, and as important, we have confidence in them.
Apologize, I don't remember exactly all the stats Kyle told us, but
were there
any turnovers today from that stick out?
We did. I think we had it. Kyle, correct me. I think we had one interception. Is that correct? In the threes, we had a tip ball there in the threes.
So it sounds like the one offense is taking care of the ball, but maybe on the other side, the defenses are like. How do you gauge that push and pull right now, where you want to create more turnovers, you want to take care of the ball, but right now it seems like the offense is doing a much better job taking care than forcing on the other side.
Well, early in practice, I thought we were getting a lot of turnovers defensively, and it's difficult because you want the offense to take care of the football, and if they do, it's hard to say defense. You got to create. It's just because if the offense is doing a really good job of taking care of the football, then we continue to have to try to strip the ball and all those things. But turnovers a lot of times come on tip balls, bad passes. Anytime a ball gets tipped, it usually gets picked. And that's proven last week in practice. We had a few tip balls. So right now, as long as we're handling the football, holding on to the football offensively, I think that's a great job, and we'll continue to work turnover circuit and get the ball. But right now I'm really pleased with the fact that we're not turning the football over.
Is it a mock game next Saturday, basically, or another scrimmage?
Yeah, no, it won't be. We will not tackle to the ground next week in that scrimmage. I say that. I haven't made up my mind totally yet, but if I remember last year, we thudded that last mock game, and if that's the case, then it doesn't make much sense for me to tackle next week when I went ones versus twos this week.
What does the week look like otherwise? Things you want to get done this coming week?
We always have periods of what we call teach, and we're going to have more of those. In other words, we're teaching not only something that we haven't seen defensively from the offense or offensively from the defense. We are also teaching some schematics of future opponents that do something different that we're not seeing, that we can continue to develop our rules, but yet see something different. We're teaching our scout team, our 3s and 4s, how to play, how to read cards, how to react. They're not the look team; they're just guys running full speed going, and we want to make sure that we teach them that way. So I guess in a way, what I'm telling you is that we won't do as much good on good. Now, every day we will do good on good, but not quite as much. It'll be a little bit more of learning some and seeing some things that either side of the ball is not allowing us to see right now in those teach periods, which we haven't had but one each practice. Now we'll have 2 to 3. And work some of our opponent stuff. We won't talk to the kids about it, but some of the things that we're going to see in the future. And then starting Saturday, we will start on next Saturday, a week from, we'll start on Alabama A&M.
You mentioned Sharp has been slowed. You expect him back soon? Is there anybody in there too deep who may not be ready for the opener?
Offensively, no, I don't think so. I think we'll be ready to roll. Defensively, the only one I can think of, and we're still waiting to see, is David Oakey. He may miss a game or two with a knee. So I don't know exactly. I haven't talked to the doctors yet, but it was kind of trending towards that way. Maybe a little trim job, and it might take 2 or 3 weeks for him to recover.
I guess we're getting pretty late into camp. You mentioned there, guys on both sides of the ball that are coming on, like C.J. Brown, Philip Lee. Just how do you kind of go about adjusting, or maybe not overreacting to, maybe the depth chart that you already have set in your mind this close to the season?
Well, when you're not very good, you have a 1 and you go, oh, Lord, I hope the 2 don't get in there, honestly. And it's just not that way right now. Obviously, they're a 1 for a reason, and they're somewhat better than the guy behind them. But right now, it's just developing more and more guys that we feel like we can win SEC games with. And that's kind of where we're at now, and I think that's where the good teams are. They're going, okay, let's get this guy in there with this group and see how he reacts. And so the depth chart's really not as important to me as it is to maybe the media and certainly to the team. I'm just trying to find guys that we trust, and more importantly, the players trust when we put them out there that we can win with. So I believe that we're headed that direction, and we'll let the depth chart play itself out by the time we get to the first game.
And then a lot of talk about, year 2 under Bobby. I guess maybe year 6 under you doesn't sound quite as exciting to the eye. But I guess have you learned anything that, I guess, sorry.
Was there a question in there?
Yeah,
what the hell are we doing?
Sorry. I guess, is there anything new that you've learned about yourself that you're looking to take into this year? I guess I should just lead with that.
Yeah, I think every year you take everything that you learn, and okay, I liked what we did here, I didn't over here, and you obviously try to get better each and every year. And I think, to be honest with you, during camp, I think we've done everything as a staff that we wanted to get accomplished. And the kids have worked extremely hard. They like each other. So to answer your question, yeah, each year you have to get better. And what was our main problem? We got to hold on to the ball, and you got to get more turnovers and make field goals when we need to make field goals. And we've got a lot of other stuff to work on as well, but I think the format of practice and the way we're doing it and the physicality and all that is working for us. So I'm happy with what I've learned over 6 years, and I've still got a long way to go.
Last week, Cam Ball and Rodney withheld with the AC. How do you think they did today?
Well, Rodney didn't play. We still held him. Now, he's been practicing in green and all that, but there was no reason to play him today. He'll be ready to go. Campbell, I thought, had a good week as well as a good scrimmage today. To answer your question, we had Scott Starsick kick in front of the Chancellor. 2 kicks in front of the Chancellor, 2 55-yarders. He made one, missed one. What else did we do this week with Starsick? Yeah. But whenever he's kicking in front of the Chancellor, I thought about you. I thought, okay, that's going to be a situation that you don't know about, but that's not fair. But, yeah, I hope I answered your question about Cam and whoever else you asked about. Rodney.
Offensively, what were you able to learn more about Cam Shanks?
I think we can run the ball, so learning-wise, I think it goes back over here to we're learning we have a pretty dang good group of wideouts, and we're learning Platt can get open. Rohan Jones can do something. Polska can do, both. We're learning a little bit more about our football team, and just because somebody was this way last year, good or bad, doesn't make him the same player. He can either be better or he can be worse. And so we're learning those things about our team a little bit more and in tough situations. And I feel really good about the team. I feel great about our punting, our kicking, our returners. It's really good to have Shanks back. I think our special teams are going to add really a lot of value to us. So we're learning all that about our football team. But luckily we're learning in a good way that how we feel about our team.
Whenever we talked to Ronnie, he said that y'all needed more yards after catch this year than last year. Is that something that you're noticing in scrimmages, that guys are getting, those explosive plays after the catch?
Well, today there was obviously a lot of explosives. Now you got to put it in check. It's not, we weren't good on good like we were last week. But if you ask us, the main thing we needed to get fixed from the scrimmage last week was explosive plays offensively. For the defense, we gave up too many, which you're happy on the other side because guys are breaking tackles and all that. So in the 2 scrimmages that we've had a ton of explosive plays offensively. So that means they're either running by people or making them miss.
And then you mentioned Phillip Lee earlier. Kind of what's led you to kind of see him emerge? Like, what's he doing while out there?
He can rush the passer. We got him to rush the passer, and he can rush the passer. He's been making more plays against the run, so we knew he could rush the passer. He's developing there and doing a good job of getting on edge and turning the edge, more importantly. But he's made a lot of plays, either running plays down from behind, setting the edge as a buck or a defensive end. And so he's playing bigger than what he is physically. And so we've learned that he's more of an every down player than just third down, let's rush the passer.
Just with Sorey being out, is that precaution or is that a worsening hamstring?
No, he's had a procedure that we need to set him. We have to for about 5 days, so the medication can work on him. And so, it'd be different if we didn't know him and all those things. But he'll have, I'd say every bit of a week to 8 or 9 days of full go before we play A&M. So we just made that decision to help him a little bit and get him fixed. And when you make that decision, you got to shut him down for a minute.
When camp first started, we asked you a lot about Antonio Jordan and haven't really checked on him in a little bit. Just how do you feel like he's kind of kept it up throughout camp, and where do you feel like he's at?
I think, like anybody at that age, some you hit a little bit of a wall, either it be the learning, the playbook, all that stuff. or just the rigors of every day, 14 hours a day or whatever it is. It's a lot, whatever the rules say. And but saying that, I think he's as elite as we thought he was before. Once you start making these great catches, you want to make it every single time, and he is human. But he's very, very good, and I think he's going to be an elite player in our league, not just for the university, but in our league, and I'm really pleased with him.
When you were here with Brett, we got to talk to you quite often during the course of the season, and you guys have made it a policy to run your assistants through. Mm-hmm. What value do you see in that? And I don't know, is it something you like to do?
Tom, if you want to know the truth about all that, so you're first time head coach in the SEC, and you go from Georgia, and obviously I was at Tennessee, I was at here with Coach Bielema, a lot of places, Oklahoma, wherever, and you take that policy. I took the policy when I came here from Georgia, because we were, we won 11 regular season games, I think 3 years in a row, and it was all about being on the same page. And you know how media, not certainly not Arkansas media, but some media can make a mountain out of a molehill. Not us, but you get different guys that say something, and sometimes it's scary because you go, well, he doesn't think like the head coach or whatever. But with that said, if you don't have as much to write about, you don't have as many personalities to, you know what I mean? So I think it's better for the media. And I also think that our guys have opportunities to be head coaches, and I think it gives them opportunities to be in front of media and get more comfortable for whenever their time comes to be in front of guys, that they can be more comfortable and maybe get that job and those things. So basically it was just more for you guys. I think it's better for you guys that you have opportunity to know our guys a little bit better, and for them to, and we're on the same page, so I'm not too worried about that.
I think Trey had another scrimmage-related question.
All right.
Took us off
That's a good question.
Well, I was just going to say, like, with Okie out, you feel a little thin. I know you got 3 freshmen, but
hey,
you
man,
feel a little
we're
bit
thin.
thin.
Hell yeah, sure do. And so we may have to look at, may have to look at somebody else, and we'll figure that out by Monday. But we believe in our young freshmen. We do, whether they're ready or not right now. We've got to go have a honest conversation about that, which we already have. So we need another big over there, and a guy that's a veteran. So we'll have to figure that one out between now and Monday. All right, guys.